Hey guys, welcome back to Patreon today. And today we are going to be talking about Knock at the Cabin, the brand new M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think it's his 11th or 12th directorial debut. It's his 12th debut, Ben. Good job. Good job. Let's see. So, director, previous producer, he's got 20 credits. Oh my gosh. What the heck? That's wild. All right. Anyways, so you guys know the general plot synopsis of this. Now I'm going to do no spoilers, but there's like one criticism I have that I need to go into spoilers, and it's like really important for like kind of like how I feel about this movie. And I'll give you guys plenty of warning if you guys haven't seen it. I'll put up, the countdown again. I'll give you guys like a solid 10 seconds to get out of here if you haven't seen it. But Knock at the Cabin stars Dave Bautista, so Jonathan Groff, and who's his partner? Ben Aldridge play Andrew and Eric. They're on a weekend getaway in a cabin up in Philadelphia with their little daughter Wen, who is played by Kristen Cui. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I most likely am. But their adopted daughter, and Dave Bautista and three of his friends, played by Rupert Grint, Nikki Amuka Bird, and Abby Quinn, come upon them, and they say that they need to decide out of the three of them who they are going to kill to stop the end of the world. The apocalypse is happening currently, and they say they have visions of the apocalypse happening, and they need to decide. Like, they can't kill themselves, they can't accidentally die or something, from a heart attack. They need to make the conscious decision to kill one of them, to kill one of each other, to stop the end of the world. And this whole movie is like, is this happening or is this not? Is this like, a hate crime going on because they're a gay couple? Is this just like this cult that's come upon them and is sacrificing them? Is this a hoax? Like, what is happening? Now, Shyamalan, I think he's probably had one of the strongest starts a director has ever had in history. I mean, I'll just say that, who am I? I'm sure like people will come and be like, oh, well, no, there's A, B, and C. Yeah, there's plenty of people, like Citizen Kane is a directorial debut by Orson Welles. Like, yeah, obviously. But like Sixth Sense, you can't start out hotter than that. Getting nominated for Best Picture, huge box office. Haley Joel Osment came onto the scene, and M. Night Shyamalan came onto the scene. I know he directed Praying with Anger and one other movie. I can't remember what it was called. But like his first big release was insane. And I like Signs more than most people. Unbreakable is like, people have come around to Unbreakable. I love The Village. Everything besides the twist for The Village works for me. But after that, it's real hit or miss. We've got, Lady in the Water. I think that's the one. I haven't seen Lady in the Water or The Visit. But I hear The Visit's good, but I haven't seen it. But, Lady in the Water wasn't well received. Obviously, The Last Airbender is one of the worst movies of all time. And After Earth didn't go well, but then he did, The Visit, and then he did Split, and then he did Glass. So, like, he's slowly making his way back up. Oh, I haven't seen Old either. So there's three I haven't seen: Lady in the Water, Old, and The Visit, which, there's defenders of every movie. So if you like those movies, that's great. The only one I will not defend is The Last Airbender. Never. You had a perfect source material, and whew, man, that's a rough movie. That is a rough movie. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was intense. I thought it was gripping. I was never bored. It's got a tight, I think like 90-minute runtime, if that, honestly. What do we got? Hour 40. So, but I mean, 90 minutes with credits, because like credits are everything. But I love the score. Dave Bautista, I want to start there with my compliments, because Dave Bautista is just so good. Everyone loves him as Drax, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's obviously great in that. But, seeing him in that opening, and I know I've said it, and I'm sure everybody said it because my review is late. But that opening scene of Blade Runner 2049, to open a legacy sequel with one of the most renowned science fiction movies of all time. 20 years later, you're going to make another one. To do it like that is insane. Or 30 years later, sorry, 30 years later, you're going to make another one. To do it with him and to him absolutely carry that part so well in such a small scene when we've just seen him be big and boisterous and buff, and he's so small and he's just like so underplaying this thing. Like, it's just so good. He's easily the best athlete turned actor working today. I would put him in the top 5 like automatically. I'd have to look, but he might be number 1. I like John Cena. The Rock does his thing being The Rock. Jim Brown was great in Any Given Sunday and The Dirty Dozen. There've been other athletes that have done a good job, but I think Dave Bautista might be the best to ever do it. And with this and Glass Onion being his last 2 movies, and we just talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer coming out, and it seems like he's gonna have some heavy stuff to deal with in that. I'm so excited for the rest of this man's career. I'm so excited to see him because it feels like he wants to stretch. He's not waiting, to like, oh, let me wait till Guardians is done and then I'll start doing, some indie stuff. Like, no, he's everything in this movie. And like, I don't want to badmouth The Rock anytime I compliment Dave Bautista, but it just feels like anytime The Rock plays a quote unquote normal person, there's always like, oh, well, he used to be a Navy SEAL. It's like, no, like, I think they mentioned one time in this movie that he's like really big, but people are big. Normal people are big out there. It just happens. There's just big people out there. And he's just one of them. And I love that they don't focus on that. They don't say like, oh, well, I used to be in the Army Rangers or some crap like that. He's just so great. But honestly, and Jonathan Groff, who, I think everybody knew about him before I did because of Hamilton, and he's great in Hamilton, obviously, and the Frozen movies, and I really, really enjoyed him in The Matrix Resurrections. I thought he was a great Agent Smith. He was great in that movie, but man, him and Ben Aldridge in this film, like, you forget sometimes that they're just acting on a tiny cabin set, and they are so convincing as these captives, like, trying to figure out what is happening, what they're going through, how they're processing it, trying to protect their daughter at the same time. It is so well done. And Ben Aldridge, who I'm really not familiar with, let me look up his credits because I think I looked them up, but I didn't recognize anything. I really don't. Titan, Lucky Man, Detour, Admission. I don't recognize anything. Looks like his big thing was Pennyworth as Thomas Wayne. But he's so good. He is so good in this movie. And even Kristen Cui, who plays Wen. I hope I probably mispronounced that again. I apologize. She's great. Like, child actors are hit or miss, and because they're kids, like, you can't like help that sometimes, but she's really great in this movie. And so are the other invaders. I'll just call them invaders. Rupert Grint, who, has just kind of taken his Harry Potter money and just chilled, and he's in that Servant, another M. Night Shyamalan project. I haven't watched that. I hear he's good in that. He's great in this. Nikki Amuka Bird. I feel like I recognize both Nikki Amuka Bird and Abby Quinn in this movie. Jupiter Ascending. Maybe that's it. She wasn't old, but again, I haven't seen that. I'm not seeing anything else that I'm recognizing except for Jupiter Ascending. So maybe I know her from that, but I'm not sure. Both her and Abby Quinn just seem so familiar to me. Like, it's just one of those faces where, like, you think you recognize them, but I don't know what from. Thinking of ending things. I haven't. Maybe she's in 2019's Little Women. So maybe it's that. So yeah. So just there's basically 7 people in this movie. There's a few flashbacks of Andrew and Eric's life, Jonathan Groff and Ben Aldridge. But other than that, it's like 7 people carrying this movie, and I feel like M. Night has really done well going smaller. I feel like big budgets might be his kryptonite, and I'm sure anyone and everyone has said that. And maybe he'll get another big budget movie someday, and I hope he crushes it, because he's obviously still got it. He's still got that fastball that's just like, I'm just going to do straight down the line. horror movie. Is there a twist? Is there not a twist? I feel like him and Jordan Peele, I feel because like M. Night was the twist guy and Jordan Peele was the social commentary guy, and it's like, okay, so what's this about? Where's the twist? What's the social commentary? It's like, even though these directors are making really great movies with dialogue and, you know, amazing performances and cinematography and just so cool of stuff, they're still trying to be put into a box. And I feel like I wish people would stop doing that. Just be like, just take the movie for what it is. So I recommend this, guys. I'm going to do one spoiler note, and I'll give you guys 10 seconds to get out of here, but I do recommend it, and I recommend going to see it in theaters. You know, it's like, you do get that claustrophobia in the cabin of like, you can't get out. So I don't know if you could feel that at home. Like, I always recommend, if I recommend seeing a movie, I always recommend seeing it in theaters. But okay, quick spoiler warning, guys. Okay, spoiler warning ahead. So the main criticism I have of this movie is that it didn't do a good enough job of making me think that this wasn't happening. So spoiler alert, it was the apocalypse. They did need to sacrifice one of them. I'm not going to say who it is, but you never don't believe that it's not happening. That's a bad sentence, but I hope you guys know what I'm trying to say. Like, the apocalypse is happening. Like, they keep watching news broadcasts of like, oh, there's a new pandemic going on. You know, planes are falling out of the sky. Like, people are dying. The tidal wave. You never think that that's fake. You think, oh, wow, this is really happening. And so I guess like the twist is like a lack of a twist, but I'm not even, I just said don't put him in a box and I say that, but just like, you never don't believe it. So that's my main criticism, is that they didn't do a good job of making me think like, okay, they are a crazy cult that's just, you know, here to commit a hate crime, and, you know, this isn't really happening. No, from the beginning, I'm like, no, yeah, this is, the apocalypse is happening, so what are they going to do about it? It's pretty crazy. And it didn't take my enjoyment away from the movie, but it was never in doubt of like, oh, yeah, this is for sure happening. Yeah, the tidal waves are happening. Now, I didn't know if the sacrifice was going to stop it, but it seemed like the apocalypse was happening the whole time. So that's my main criticism, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you all being subscribed to my Patreon. Up next, we've got The Last of Us review, which you guys will get a day early before I release to the public, because I think it's like going to be my one public video or something. It's just talking about Last of Us. But thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.